Well, Jim, before we completely move on from this, I have to bring up to you the press conference because a lot of other people were talking about it. It's a long press conference after SmackDown. It was about a half hour, a little less than a half hour, and it's pretty much all The Rock.
You know, the Rock should go to AEW because he and Tony both love these long-winded press conferences where they get to talk more about the talking they've just done.
Well, let's listen to this and judge this versus a Tony press conference. We know how Tony does it. We've listened to dozens of them at this point.
I bet this one will be a little smoother, just verbally.
Let's see who's more full of shit. Who's smoother? Who do you believe? Who do you trust here? Here's a question for The Rock. Apparently this is about the whole Cody thing.
It's been good.
Right after this.
Rico Andre with WBOK Radio. So tonight you had a big proposal for Cody Rhodes. What does this mean for you and him as past rivals and our respective peers?
With Cody, I love that. I got to tell you, for those of you guys who don't know, I grew up in the world of pro wrestling. My dad, my grandfather, and to be able to come back in this way as the final boss and to be able to get in the final boss's skin and be able to become that in this venue here in New Orleans, and really I think take the audience on a fun experience and ride where I'm singing, I'm dropping the announcement of WrestleMania, here we come 2026, I'm singing, oh, when the Saints go marching in, then I'm telling you, you can't sing with me. The final boss will finish singing, and then bring Cody Rhodes out and offer him this big ideology of, you are our champion and you're amazing, but I want so much more for you. And at the end, the final boss says, I want your soul. And I think what that does in this wild, crazy world of pro wrestling is that...
Let me stop it for just one brief moment.
Yeah, I'm stunned. Yes, I was trying to figure out if he was ever going to come to any kind of point.
Well, there's a little more here, but this is Jericho disease, isn't it?
Well, but also it's just he really is in love with the smell of his own brand. He doesn't realize that he's coming in, and for the most dedicated followers of this brand, he's disrupting all the shit that they think that they're getting and that they want to get and they want to see. He's inserting himself in everything, but at the same time, if he wants to be a heel, he wants to be a heel and a baby face, and he wants to be a obnoxious heel, and then he wants to immediately turn babyface to tell you how good he is at doing that. And it's smarmy at this point, and it's just, please get over yourself. And you're not taking me on a goddamn thrill ride like I'm at Disney. You're confusing the issue at this point. You're wedging you're a third wheel here. I thought this was the guy that said he didn't do WrestleMania a year or two ago because they couldn't come up with something, a long-term plan that was different, that had been done before and was captivating and wow. Well, now is he just coming up with ideas and flying into the fucking town?
He's gone to too many movie pitches. That's what it is. He's trying to pitch everyone on all this happening, but he's the genius behind it because he understands it deep, deep inside his mind. Let's go back to The Rock.
To me, it just becomes something that's unpredictable. Because in the world of pro wrestling, as we all know, like everything will culminate to a match. Like whatever happens, it will end up in the ring. What I really love about this rare air space that we've gotten to with the character of the final boss is like this white whale unicorn in that with final boss and Cody Rhodes.
Hold on.
It's not about...
Now, wait, just hold the phone here a second. First of all, the character of the final boss, he's goddamn James Lipton here inside the actor's studio, but also a white whale unicorn. Is that even a god? Did he just make that up? Has anybody ever said that before?
There are white whales and there are unicorns. He just combined them both to make it ultra rare.
Well, it's about as rare as hen's teeth.
Let's go
That's
back
what
to
Uncle Harold would have said.
Let's go back to the white whale unicorn himself, Dwayne "The Rock" Johnson.
Sounds like a
in the
fucking
ring.
song.
What I really love about this rare airspace that we've gotten to with the character of the final boss is like this white whale unicorn, in that with Final Boss and Cody Rhodes, it's not about the WWE title, it's not about having a match, it's not about punching or kicking or bleeding or any of that is so part of our world. It never has to culminate to a match. That's a really special place to be, I think, like creatively, and when you just think character-wise and how much fun you could have. I grew up in the business, so and as did Cody. His dad and my dad were friends. They're no longer with us, but I think to be able to have a storyline and two characters who are very popular, to never have to get in the ring for a match, but yet still hold this really unique, compelling, like off-putting, and it's kind of weird, and he wants his soul. What does that mean? I love it. I loved every moment of it, and Cody did too as well.
If you can stop it for a breath.
Yeah, let's stop it there. And again,
he's all around this thing about how praiseworthy this whole story is, while telling people that it's a gaga story. And if they don't have to have a match, then what would Cody for some reason sell his soul and turn his back on his fans for The Rock? I doubt it very highly, but if he was some way put under the yoke of oppression of The Rock, then wouldn't he, by tradition in wrestling, have to at least beat the guy up one time to get out from under it? Or when he throws off the shackles of slavery of The Rock and stands up for himself, does The Rock just say, "Oh, okay, my bad," and go make a movie? And Cody's standing there with his dick in his hand? What? Where's the comeuppance here? As Larry Latham, Spot the Moondog, would say, where's the heat?
And again, The Rock at this press conference is almost talking down to the world because, he's trying to explain the genius behind this. And in case anyone didn't know, he's from a wrestling family. Who the fuck didn't know that? In case you didn't know, my dad and granddad were wrestlers. Who doesn't know that?
They literally just had a fucking network television show about it. But then it didn't get renewed, so maybe there's still a lot of people that didn't get the word.
The pomposity and the arrogance and the out-of-touchedness of The Rock is going to catch up very, very soon if he stays around for too long. And this shit better make sense. They're in Toronto. That'll be a harsh crowd if this doesn't make sense a little bit better. They can't end the segment with Cody looking confused in the ring. Cody's just standing there in the ring. He looks awful throughout this whole thing. Like, there's nothing that makes him look better. It somehow took him and the title down a notch and went nowhere in the process. And again, right after it's over, he wants to sit down and talk about, hey, Cody was happy too, and I was happy. And what the fuck? How does that help anything?
Yeah, because I know that since I am on the board of directors and I do know the owner and jet around with him or whatever the fuck, I know Cody would have said, boy, this fucking sucks. You need to get the fuck out of here, if he really meant that. But he enjoyed it.
You know what the problem is? These scrums are more for the people doing them than for the actual media.
The scrummers instead of the scrummies. I feel sorry for the scrummies. They got to listen to the scrummers.
So that was a scrummy press conference from The Rock. And we'll see where we go from here. What is your gut telling you? Are you optimistic about where we're going to go from now to Mania with The Rock? Or do you think based on the last few appearances, Netflix, NXT, and this, and before Netflix, it was that pay-per-view Survivor Series where it just showed up at the end and was never explained or referenced again.
No, that was Bad Blood, wasn't it? Because it was in Atlanta.
Oh, was it? I thought it was the War Games.
I think. Oh, goddamn. Well, I can't remember because
maybe you're right. No, you're right. Because War Games was CM Punk was on the team, not Cody. You're right.
Yeah. Get used to saying that now that I'm a fucking Hollywood superstar. But point being, I don't think we're getting Rock wrestling at WrestleMania. I think he's just confusing the issue somehow. I mean, he might have a plan for this to go forward, or maybe he just wanted to go to New Orleans. But I think we would already. One would think that you would have already announced or had in the works far enough that it would be known if The Rock was actually wrestling, because he has to get in the physical shape. He can't just do that at that level once a year. At least that's been his track record of getting in shape and, being serious about that part of it. So, but that's why I'm wondering, does he take someone else's side? Is he playing someone else against Cody at the next step? Or does he just go home till the next big show? I don't fucking know.
Well, it's the confusion like this that makes the road to WrestleMania so
Confusing?
confusing every year. More about this when more actually happens, when anything's explained. Whatever it may be here.